Hi, I'm Claudia Brown Coulter with Pivotal Peace, and I am your go-to mediator for navigating divorce while parenting children with special needs. And I'm also a legal document assistant, LDA, based in the greater Los Angeles area. Welcome to Mediation Mondays. Today, we are talking about things you need to know before you file for divorce, especially if you have special needs children. So let's first talk about the legal considerations. You want things to be as clear as possible. You want your divorce agreement to be super duper clear. So when you go to mediation, you want a detailed parenting plan, a detailed agreement around your assets and debts, things that are detailed regarding future care that your children may need, child support. You also want to think about, though, the other side of the coin, which may be things that the court can't necessarily enforce. They might be able to, but these are some of the softer things, like making sure your spouse knows the routine for the kids, their therapy appointments, their doctor appointments, their school schedule, the bell schedule for their school, when the bus drops them off, if it's that type of situation. Your spouse, your soon-to-be former spouse, needs to know that information. So you want to make that really clear. Make sure that they have the doctor's number, all of those types of things. They should already be on the emergency cards. Make sure that they are on the emergency cards at school. Some of these things seem basic, but you are approaching your divorce in an attitude of goodwill. So if your spouse's name isn't already on the school emergency contact list, add them on there. If your spouse does not know the information about the doctor's name, the office, those things, while yes, they should definitely know, you can't change the past, so let them know, okay? You also want to think about the future. So yes, child support, but when would that end? How long does child support need to be? And do they need guardianship even after they reach the age of majority? Is there some sort of estate planning you need to do? So these are all the things you need to really think about before you start your divorce. It doesn't mean don't get divorced if you need to get divorced. It means just begin to think about things clearly. Even if you just start with the list of things to consider as you're contemplating divorce, that's a really good place to start. And then you can check things off one by one. Okay, so let's talk about some emotional considerations. These are some strategies for you and your children. So you want to think about therapy for you and therapy for your children. So for your children specifically, they're going to need a little bit of help navigating these changes in an age-appropriate manner. So you want to work with a therapist who can counsel them and is aware of their unique needs and is able to meet those needs. That's what we really want. And then for you, you have a lot of emotional needs too that need to be managed. So we want you to be able to get taken care of as well. So you need to find a different therapist so that you can work through those emotions. And therapy in the middle of divorce is really, really powerful. It can make you feel like a human again because your emotions are all over the place. And then you go to therapy and you're like, oh, I'm going to be okay. So find a therapist because you need one. Think about support networks. Who do you know in the SELPA? Is there a parent group in the SELPA? Do they get together and talk? Do they know supports that can help couples who are going through a divorce? Who are the people who will gather around you? Who are the people who you can go to for help? Because there are a lot of support groups for divorce, but you have a different situation. So this is why I suggest really checking out the SELPA first, the school district, to see if there's any parent groups, because they are going to be more connected with people who have needs that are like yours. So don't neglect that. Also, communicate with your child. Communicate with the school, communicate with anybody who needs to be communicated with. But when it comes to your child, Tell them gently, tell them in an age-appropriate manner, and be there to validate their feelings. I just had a couple tell me, we told our son, and this is how he reacted. We told him together, and they just kind of rode the waves of his emotions, and they were there for him. And as the days have gone on, he's been with dad and has asked dad questions, and he's been with mom and has asked mom questions, and they're answering them the best they can. That's all you can do. It's perfect. Okay, so now let's talk about what I always talk about, some tips for navigating this divorce process. It's the thing I say every week. Be organized. Have your documentation together in one place. If you don't have it in one place, especially as you're contemplating a divorce, but you're not ready to tell your spouse, begin to gather those documents together in one place. Even if that means you need to make a copy of things. Begin to document your child's schedule so that you have a copy, your spouse has a copy. This is not you telling your spouse what to do or thinking that they're an idiot or trying to insult their intelligence. The effort is super duper clear communication. That's what I want for you. You want to maintain consistency. Your children should know where they're going to be at all times. Things should be as smooth as possible. And remember, you are several steps ahead on this journey. When you're thinking about divorce, you're 5 steps ahead of them. You got to go back and catch them up. They're at a different pace than you. You're ready to move. Their world just got turned upside down. So remember, they need a little gentleness. They need a little time. So don't forget that. They need consistency. And then while you're thinking about the future, which is great for mediation because we focus on the future, focus on your future of we're not stuck in the past, we're moving on, we're creating a great and bright future for you, your former spouse, and your children. But I need you to think a little bit longer term. Think about what type of supports and helps will my children need after they are out of school. After they finish the compulsory, or is it compensatory education, what then? After we are gone from this earth, will they be able to care for themselves? And if not, what then? Okay? So remember, divorce, you can handle divorce. Gather people around you to help you walk through this. One person isn't enough to help you. One person isn't enough because they can't shoulder all of your emotional burden, the whole heaviness of divorce. But gather an army of people around you to help you navigate this process. And when you are ready, when you've decided and you've told your spouse and you've committed to working on this amicably, let's chat. Let's have a conversation because I'm here to walk you to your finish line. Have a great week, and remember that you can do this, and I'm cheering for you.